Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Knock Rio, coming live from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And today I was sent a track by CJM Music called Unordinary Love, and I like the track, and so I placed it on my Diamond List playlist on Spotify. But I did mention to the artist that the volume on it seemed a little bit too low. So I thought maybe I would do a little bit of a tutorial showing how I kind of bring things up. In that kind of pseudo mastering phase, just to try to get things to be a little bit more full, a little bit more of a better experience for the listener. And so, with his track, we'll kind of experiment with that just a little bit. So I'm going to play the track as is. I do have it loaded here in Mixbus, and we're going to play the track now, just kind of hear what it sounds like, and then we'll start to see what type of adjustments and things that we can make to it to kind of make it work here. I got things already set up, so it'll be quickly, we can quickly kind of go through these things and I can show you what's going on. So I'm going to mute myself here really quickly and just play part of the song from where we are right now, and you can hear it, and then you'll get an idea of what we've done.
Time for you. I used to stress that I needed. She didn't hear me repeat it. I proceeded to not to make the time for you. I left the word on the shelf, collecting dust by yourself. Life was declining, so consumed in myself. Sex, fake, money, women. If I could maintain this image, could diminish what a hater ever had to say. And cut her off so many times, it's really sad to say. I'm inconsistent without Jesus, that I'm glad to say. Because I need you every season, every relationship is speaking or depleting. If I'm the light in my own beacon, drifted away and it wasn't okay, but Lord, you made a way. Repented for the substitutions onto better days.
All right, so you can kind of hear where that is right now. It's not a whole lot of life there, but I hear the elements. I think all the elements are there, and I think the mix probably was okay. There might be a little bit of EQ stuff that needs to be done on it. I did boost the EQs a little bit on both of the buses and on the master just a little bit. On the main track, and then on the master we boosted a little bit in the mids. I think there's some work that could have been done maybe there in the EQ. I don't hear a lot of bottom in the kick drum. Maybe that's by choice. So all of this is, contingent on what the artist really wanted. So I'm not here to bash whatever they did or say anything about what they did. All I'm trying to do is just enhance what I hear. Because ultimately it's the artist who decides what they want it to sound like. So as producers and as engineers and mixers, we don't want to get in the way of that. We want to kind of give the artist what they want. So I'm just showing you my process. It's just a way to show you my process of what I do to bring things out a little bit. I think if we all teach each other and learn from each other, it's a good thing. So now what I'm going to do is I've got two mix buses set up here. I've got Mixbus 1 and 2 set up. They're panned left and right to like 46.8 or so. Not that that's super accurate. It's just what it turned out to be when I panned them and I listened to it. The faders are down at -6. The main fader is down at like about -3 or so, -3.3. It's not super accurate or anything like that, but it's just to get the volume down because this has already been kind of pre-mixed and stuff like that, just to give us a little headroom to work. So I've got my Mixbus buttons here. I can turn them on this track here, turn them on and off here, and then it'll feed these two mix buses here, which will then go to the master, which is here on the end. So I'm going to play the track, and then we're going to turn on the Mixbus like partly through so that you can hear what happens solely when we turn on the Mixbus. There are no effects on those Mixbuses, so this is just dry, but with the Mixbus, pan left and right, and a little bit of volume differential on it. So let's play it and let's
Then you embrace the honesty and then pull me away. Don't find it necessary for you to love me the way you do. I'm up, I'm down, all over the place sometimes, and I'm reminded that true love is true. That true love is true. That true love is true. Don't find it necessary for you to love me the way you do.
Okay, so what you immediately notice is that the vocals like pop right up into the front a little bit. So just adding the mix buses is quite effective to kind of bringing your sound out a little bit. You don't want to run them too hot. You definitely can run them down behind the main track. Sometimes I'll put that main track on bus 3 if I need it and run it straight up the middle without panning if I need it. But here I don't think we need that. I think it just needed just a little bit of a boost. Now, some of the effects that we use on the master bus can help us with that boost in the sides and all that too. So I do have the Shadow Hills Class A. I'm going to turn that on right now, and then we can bypass from here, right? So I'll turn that off here. Okay, so I like the Mastering Medium PGM program. So that's number 22 on my list here. I like that sound, and then what I do is I boost the stereo width a little bit, mess with the parallel mix a little bit, boost up the headrooms some, and then I click our mid-side button here. It's a little more subtle on this than the SPL Iron, which we're going to look at a little, after this. But it's cool to kind of give that mid-side some love, because then that kind of brings up some volume there, brings up things that are out there maybe that are panned in the mix that we weren't hearing before, and it kind of brings some life. It brings a different feel to the track a little bit. So let's play this really quickly. It's bypass now, and then we'll turn it on.
I'm up, I'm down, all over the place sometimes, and I'm reminded that true love is true. That true love is true. That true love is true. Don't find it necessary for you to love me the way you do. I'm up, I'm down, all over the place sometimes, and I'm reminded that true love is true. That true love is true. That true love is.
Okay, so we won't run it too hot or anything like that. It's a little more subtle, I think, than SPL Iron is. But I like the sound of this compressor here. So let's go turn on the SPL Iron. We'll bring that up as well. And right now it's bypassed, which you can see here. We've got our mid-side button on right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off and on so you can kind of hear it. Same thing, we've got headroom. We've got a filter here as well. We've got a mono maker. I like our stereo width to be a little bit wide, and then we got the parallel mix too. So let's go ahead and play that and hear what that sounds like.
Don't find it necessary for you to love me the way you do. I'm up, I'm down, all over the place sometimes, and I'm reminded that true love is true. That true love is true. That true love is true. Yeah. Necessary for you to love me the way you. I'm up, I'm down, all over the place. Sometimes I'm reminded that true love is true.
All right, that sounds pretty good to me. I worry about this OBS software because I don't know, going into the OBS software, I've got the volume down a little bit. I've got it down like minus 15 dBs because for some reason it just distorts. So you have to remember that too. That's part of the process here is I'm recording this into OBS software, which does its own processing on the audio or whatever. So it may not be as accurate as I want it to be for what I hear coming out of my monitors. Now, the last thing that I'll do, I'll go to my plugins and I'll add like this Final Loud or whatever plugin that you've got that can monitor and give you what the LUFs are. I try to hit between 11 and 9. Minus 11 and minus 9 is kind of the place that I want to be. I think Spotify is at like minus 16. That's kind of what they like. Apple Music, I think, is at like minus 14. But if you're listening to that in your car or something, it's going to sound way lower than everything else. So I try to hit for like, minus 11 through minus 9. some people go as far as like -6, but I think it's just, that's really, really loud and crushing the sound a little bit. So minus 9, -10, 11 in there, that works pretty good. So I throw that on the end and just kind of make sure I'm hitting in that area, and then that gets me into a place where I don't feel like I'm turning up my volume or turning it down when I'm playing my music on Spotify. So let's play this and see kind of where the LUFs hit.
That's true, the love is true. That's true, the love. Yeah. That true love, that true love is true. Don't find it necessary for you to love me the way you do. I'm up, I'm down, all over the place sometimes, and I'm reminded that true love is true. That true love is true. That true love is true. Yeah. Necessary for you to love me.
Sorry about that. I had another window jump up in front of my mute. And the window wouldn't go away or whatever. I almost closed OBS. But you can see we're hitting right now just a little bit above -12. I think that's about right for here. I don't want to push it too far. Like in your studio, you may want to push it a little bit if you're not recording into something like OBS, because I think OBS kind of falls apart when you start to push it too hard. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push that because I don't want it to sound horrible on YouTube. So that's kind of the process that I use, and those are the little tools that I use to kind of get us to that place. So I do own like the SPL Iron, and I have the other, Shadow Hills compressor or whatever. I think those came in a package that I've got, I think through Plug-in Alliance. I got some of that through some of the equipment that I bought, some MIDI controllers and stuff that I bought. Some of that came with that. I don't know if I pay on a monthly basis for that or not. I forget. But those are nice plugins. Those are actually pretty nice plugins. I feel like they can be a little bit sharp on the top end, so just be careful with that. They can, you just have to be careful with how you tweak it. And then the final loud, this is really just a demo. So for this type of metering or whatever, I don't use it, for so long that I think I should pay for it. I think I could just use the demo and kind of get the LUFs out of it. That's pretty much what I need. And I've got other things like this. I think there's an SPL loud or something like that too. There's other ones that are out there, so it doesn't have to be this one. But just have a meter that kind of tells you what the LUFs are. And I think in Mixbus, when you export, you can export it into all the different formats. You can export it into Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and then MP3. You can do all 4 of those formats at the same time, and it'll tell you like what platforms this particular mix is fit for, which one it falls in the range for. So you can have all 4 or 5 different ranges and send different ones to different places if you have to. So I usually send MP3s to artists and to other places. If I'm doing snippets or whatever, I'll use an MP3 because it's just louder. But if I'm submitting to TuneCore, which is my distributor, then I'm going to use normally the Apple one, which is like -14 or so. But for listening in the car and stuff, something like this, -11 to -9 is pretty good for your MP3. So I want you guys to show love to CJF Music. Go over there to CJF Music on Spotify. I'll put the link here in the description. And subscribe to his page. He's got some beats out there. If you want beats, definitely check those out. Hopefully he'll be gracious enough to allow us to have this posted and allow us to use that. I don't know if we'll get a copyright strike or whatever because it has his music, which is distributed. I don't know how that's going to work for us, but I'm not monetized. I don't really care about the monetization at this point, especially something like this. I really just like to, help with the information I have. And if you see something or you've got something that works for you, you can share that too with the community. I think that's how we all get to a place where we're all successful. So once again, it's your boy Knock Rio. Thank you once again to CJF Music for your submission. And peace, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.